We're here to teach you about the math concept of transforming functions.
A function is...
Come on, Laura, where have you been all year? A function is a relation between two sets of numbers in which each input value has one specific output.
Oh, right. So how do I transform one?
You're going to want to use this equation. That equation.
What the heck?
It's easier than it looks. A represents a vertical stretch. B represents a horizontal stretch. C represents a horizontal shift because it's attached to the x. And D represents a vertical shift. Let's take an example. If I have y equals x minus 3 squared, the quantity, plus 4, and it's a horizontal shift and a vertical shift, you can tell because the values are being added instead of multiplied. So remember, we do have to do the opposite of what makes sense for the x values. So let's make an xy chart.
Oh, right, I got you. That one doesn't have any stretches, though.
Any what?
Stretches.
Ah, like this.
No, silly. Let's take this example. This equation has a vertical and horizontal stretch. Let's start with making an xy table.
Okay, so the coefficients of the root and the x stretch the graph accordingly.
Exactly. Now let's graph it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. But what happens if the coefficient is negative?
Oh, I don't know.
Nick, get over here.
Seriously, what is it now?
What happens when the coefficient on the x or y value of a function is negative? Alright, so I've just been informed that when the coefficient on the y value, or a, is negative, it's called a vertical flip. When the coefficient on the y value, or the x value, or b, is negative, it's a horizontal flip. Let's use the square root function as an example, and then we don't need to do it. Here, you just have the basic square root function, which goes this way because all of the values are positive. But here, you have a flip over the y-axis because the negative is not included in the square root sign, so it's a coefficient on the y. Therefore, you have to flip it around the y-axis to make it go down and to the right. On this one, it's a flip across the x-axis, or a horizontal flip, because that negative is included in the square root sign. So it's a part of the x, so it has to go, you flip it this way, and it's up and to the left.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll do an example that ties everything together. Let's take this for example.
First, we make an xy chart. Alright, so as you can see, we made an xy table. First, we shifted it 2 to the right. Like this hitch here, this is supposed to be an x equals 0 if it was just a straight y equals x cubed function. Then, we made a vertical stretch and a vertical flip with this negative coefficient on the 3 on the y value. And lastly, we moved the graph down 3, bringing the hitch to its current location. I think we're done here.
Whew.